Due to the sheer amount of WWE video game releases there have been over the years, it's rather common that certain roster inclusions are gonna be forgotten by fans. Most of these superstars who appear in this list are often superstars who really didn't have the best and most successful career, but nevertheless, they decided to put them in a video game release anyway. But which wrestlers were they? Well, join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 WWE superstars you forgot were in a WWE video game. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when we release a video. Number 10, Jimmy Wang Yang in SmackDown vs. Raw 2009.
On the way to the ring, from Austell, Georgia, weighing in at 205 pounds, Jimmy Wang Yang.
Jimmy Wang Yang had run in WWE between 2006 and 2010. During this time, Yang mainly spent his time in the Cruiserweight division, where WWE were clearly looking to abolish the division entirely. Following his time in the division, Yang would mainly be used as enhancement talent and wouldn't achieve anything too notable during his remaining years in the WWE. Although Yang was the most popular member in the WWE roster, this didn't stop them from including him in SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. This would be Yang's first and only appearance in a WWE video game release. Number 9, Marcus Corvan, SmackDown vs. Raw 2008.
From Detroit, Michigan, weighing 265 pounds, the alpha male, Marcus Corvan.
When WWE debuted Marcus Corvan in early 2006, fans expected him to be a huge star. Corvan had a decent run in TNA as Monty Brown, and he was someone who WWE were looking to build up to be a future main event superstar. WWE had so much faith in Corvan that they decided to put him in as a playable character in SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. But the issue was that by the time of summer 2007, Corvan had already left the WWE and already officially retired. This meant that players were now playing with a superstar who shouldn't have been in the game. Number 8, Miss Jackie, WrestleMania 21. Miss Jackie is most well known by fans for co-winning the second season of Tough Enough. When Jackie made it to the WWE main roster, she would have a number of roles, including participating in a Playboy evening gown match at WrestleMania 20, as well as an on-screen partnership with Charlie Haas. Jackie would make a total of 1 video game appearance during a brief WWE career. She would appear in the not-so-popular WrestleMania 21 release, a move that WWE would come to no doubt regret, as Jackie would be released from her WWE contract just a few months short after the game hit shelves. Number 7, Haku in Raw and WWE 2K16.
Making his way to the ring, from the Isle of Tonga, weighing in at 275 pounds, Haku.
Haku was most well known by wrestling fans for being one half of the Islanders as well as one half of the Colossal Connection alongside the legendary Andre the Giant. In relation to Haku's video game appearances, he's featured in a total of 2 video games, and although it's incredibly hard to remember him featured in any of these, his first video game appearance came in 2002 on the video game Raw. This was interesting as Haku had been released for an extended period when the game was released. His second game appearance came in 2K16, however, this would be his final video game appearance to date. Number 6, Rodney Mack, Here Comes the Pain.
You know it's the Mac militant. Coming to get it on.
Rodney Mack is often cited as one of the forgotten stars of WWE's Ruthless Aggression era. Mack was mostly well known for his association with future SmackDown general manager Teddy Long, and he didn't manage to get too much success during his tenure. As Mack was a forgotten star of the Ruthless Aggression era, this naturally means that WWE fans and players of the old SmackDown series may have forgotten that he was a playable character in the much acclaimed SmackDown Here Comes the Pain title. This would be Mack's first and only appearance in a WWE video game. Number 5, Kwang in Raw. Kwang was a character that was featured for a brief period of time on television. The character is often forgot about as the man behind the mask went on to portray Savio Vega, a character which was a lot more successful. Although Kwang was rather forgettable as a character, this didn't stop WWE in putting him in a WWE video game release. Players may be surprised to learn that Kwang was a playable character in the original Raw video game released back in 1994, although he only appeared in the 32X version of the game. Number 4, Kenzo Suzuki, Day of Reckoning 2.
From the land of the rising sun, weighing in at 250 pounds, Kenzo Suzuki.
The WWE fans may remember Kenzo Suzuki for his short time on the SmackDown brand between 2004 and 2005. Suzuki's main achievement during his time with the WWE was a tag team title reign with Rene Dupree, which was a rather forgettable one. Now, since his tag team title reign was forgotten, his video game appearance wasn't so remembered either, appearing in Day of Reckoning 2. Now, one of the reasons this appearance slipped under the radar was because Day of Reckoning 2 was released in the summer of 2005, and by this time, Suzuki had already been released from the WWE. Number 3, Virgil in 2K14.
Weighing 250 pounds, Virgil.
Both superstars look ready. I'm excited for this one.
Now, most WWE fans associate Virgil for his time with the $1 Million Man as his bodyguard, but when it comes to Virgil and his WWE video game appearances, most may struggle to identify if Virgil has ever been featured in a WWE video game release. Virgil has appeared in 2 WCW video game releases, those being WCW Nitro and WCW NWO Thunder, but when it comes to WWE releases, Virgil has only appeared in a single release, and that release was 2K14. Players were a little confused at the time why Virgil was included in the game, and he was quickly forgotten about. Number 2, the Fabulous Moolah in WWF No Mercy. The Fabulous Moolah is one of the most decorated and celebrated women's wrestlers of all time, but what many fans forget is that Moolah actually appeared as a playable character in one of the most popular wrestling games of all time. Moolah featured in the universally beloved No Mercy game, and during the time of the game's release, Moolah had sporadic appearances in WWE, mainly alongside Mae Young, who also appeared in the game. Moolah's appearance in No Mercy would be her first and only appearance in a WWE video game to date. And number 1, the Ultimo Dragon in SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. A lot of fans had high hopes for the Ultimo Dragon's WWE tenure. Following in the footsteps of Rey Mysterio, Dragon would join the WWE with the idea of him being presented as a top star. Now, sadly, this didn't happen, and his run in the WWE was very brief. Nevertheless, he was included in the popular SmackDown Here Comes the Pain title. Our players often forget that Dragon was included in any WWE video game, as his run in the company was so short and he only made a number of appearances. But there you have it, folks, 10 WWE wrestlers you forgot were in WWE video games. Do you guys remember any of these? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling video game content.